everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is LaTanya. I am an 8th grade language arts, social studies, and history teacher in Southern California. I am a single woman with 2 dogs trying to get my financial life back on track, or really just on track if I were to be 100% honest. And some of you may be here just because you discovered me for that reason. I started off 2020 with so much optimism, as I'm sure we all did. Little did I know it would kind of turn into a year that none of us would forget, but not necessarily for good reason. But I was feeling very optimistic about my decision to really get serious about getting my financial life on track. And so I started making these kind of month in review videos because I was really looking to minimize my spending so that I can increase my efforts with paying off my debt. And so I would do the videos every month. And I think the last one that I made, if I remember correctly, was for the month of June. And then I just kind of disappeared. And it is now midway through September and I haven't checked in at all. So if you have been waiting for this video and been wondering, where's LaTanya? What is she doing? Where's her money going? What's happening with her money? Don't worry, I'm here. I have still been working on my financial goals. I haven't been as hyper focused on it as I was in the very beginning of 2020, but I've still been making progress and still working on it. So first things first, like, if I just full transparency, like life just got the best of me after that June video. We were in the middle of a pandemic, we still are, and right around that time is when it started to become a little bit clear and evident that more than likely we would be starting the school year virtually. And so all of my attention was really kind of focused on that. I am a union rep for the district that I work in, and so we had to negotiate the conditions of returning to work or returning to teaching in a virtual environment. And then as a teacher individually, I had to come to terms with the fact that I was going to start the year virtually, which is not something that I wanted to do. And teaching virtually, it's a complete reshifting, reinvention of teaching for all of us. So a lot of time and energy was spent in preparing myself for that and what that was going to mean for me as a professional, as well as just looking at some curriculum changes that I wanted to make. And that was really how I spent the month of July, August, and here we are now, the middle of September. But now I'm back. I feel like I'm at a place where I can take a little bit of a deep breath and really kind of update you guys on what's going on and really, you know, share that experience with you. And I wanted to share it with you because I've had a few epiphanies during this time where I was kind of MIA. And one of those epiphanies is that I need to kind of just refocus. There's some things that were working for me, and then there were some things that really weren't working for me. So I can't remember what I shared in June, but the good news is over the summer, amidst all the stress I was kind of dealing with, I did refinance my house, which gave me a huge boost in my efforts to be able to pay down debt. I refinanced my house and ended up reducing my mortgage by $340, which is pretty significant for me. And so since then, I've been able to increase the amount of money that I'm paying down my debt by $340 because I'm taking that money that I would have been spending had I not refinanced it and applying it towards debt repayment. I have paid off 1 credit card. So far, I am well on my way. Actually, is it 1? No. Is it 1 or 2? I think it's 2. I think I've paid off 2 credit cards since the whole thing started, and I'm on my way to paying off a 3rd. Yes, it's 2. I know for sure now. And I'm on my way to paying off a 3rd. I will say with the 3rd one that I'm now working on, this one's going to be a little bit more challenging because the first 2 had pretty low balances, and this one that I'm currently working on is one of the more significant ones. It is a Best Buy account, and this is what I use to get the appliances for the condo that I live in, my washer, my dryer, and my refrigerator. So, but I have to be patient in that, but hey, I have the ability to do it, so there's nothing to it but to do it, as the saying goes. So that's good news. So even though I wasn't super focused on it and not sharing it with you guys, I still feel very optimistic, but I also know that I need to kind of regain that laser intensity that I had. And so that brings me to the purpose of this video, which is A, to give you an update, which I just kind of did, B, have a little fun and share what I spent in a week video, or what I spent in a week segment with you, and also give you some of my takeaways when this is all said and done. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I'm going to use to help me refocus, and that is the Empower app. So if you've seen my videos before, I think I've mentioned Empower to you guys a couple of times because it was something that I discovered, I believe, in April. I think I started using it somewhere around March and April. I found out about it through a friend of mine, and I said, hey, there's a chance for me to try this out for 30 days without a fee. Let me try it out. If I like it, great. If not, I'll move on to the next. I tried it out for 30 days and really, really liked it. I needed something that was going to track my spending, tell me where my money was going with very minimal effort on my part. I didn't want to have to save receipts. I didn't want to have to write anything down. And I, in the process, didn't really want to have to spend a lot of money to have that service available to me. I tried one app earlier in the year. It was okay, but there's something about it that just didn't really work with me. The format of it and the price of it. I didn't want to pay the amount that they were asking for. And so this app was a great replacement. There's still a fee for it, but it was significantly less than what I was paying, and so I continued it. I liked it so much that I added some features to it, and I'm gonna get into one of those features in just a second. But the first part of this video is just gonna be me talking to you about how I use Empower, or how I've used it in the past to kind of get me started on this process, and how I'm gonna use it going forward to keep the momentum going in the right direction. So first, I started just by using the financial tracker. So that is just what I was using to track my expenses, where my money was going, what percentage of my money was going to what. I just looked at my tracking information for last month, and what I learned was, you will be shocked because I was shocked, because I've never really looked at this, I've never really calculated it, even though I could have, is right now about 70%. 70% of my income is going towards housing and bills, like my mortgage and just the bills I need to kind of live the life that I'm living, which is shocking, which means I don't have a lot of discretionary income, which means all of my dollars are really accounted for, and that's not good. So that's one of the reasons why I'm on this journey. And had I not had the app, I don't know that I would have realized that. If I hadn't calculated that by this point, I wasn't going to calculate it. So that's how I started. I liked the tracking so much that I said, you know what, let's take another step. I'm gonna open up a checking account, which I did, and I used that for my emergency fund. However, this checking account can also be used, if I choose to, as just my regular day-to-day checking account. So it is an app, and you do get a debit card. And what I like about the checking account is that it is interest bearing. So right now, I am earning interest on money that I'm not really doing anything with. It's just sitting there earning interest for me. If I choose to go down the route of making this my primary checking account, which I don't have any opposition to, it's just a matter of me looking into getting everything transferred over. I like that there's no minimum balance that I need to maintain. So the checking account is definitely a good place to start, along with the tracking feature that I explained to you in the very beginning of this video. If you're looking to just kind of consolidate everything and track everything all in one location, I highly recommend it. There is also an auto savings feature. So even though I have very little discretionary income, I've had an auto savings account for years with my primary bank, which is a major bank. And if I were to be totally honest, the only reason why I have that is when I opened that checking account, they said, we will waive the fee of your checking account as long as you open a savings account and agree to have this amount of money transferred every month. So I said, sure, why not? But the truth is, for a very long time, not so much now, but for a very long time, every month would come, they would transfer that money from my checking into my savings, and then in the next day or two, I would just transfer that money right on back into my checking account, because I really couldn't afford for it not to be in my checking account. And so the savings account that I had was really just a means of me getting my checking account to become a free account. With the auto savings through the Empower app, you do not have to do that. It does not have to be tied to your checking account. You do not have to transfer a minimum amount. You set that goal for yourself. You set a weekly goal for yourself, and then you allow Empower to do the rest. My favorite part about their auto savings program is that once you set that weekly goal, Empower will just kind of track your spending on that week, and if your spending seems to be a little bit higher than normal and it thinks that maybe you don't have that money to give, it won't transfer that amount. If your spending is okay and nothing's out of the ordinary, it will go ahead and transfer the amount that you decided that you wanted to transfer. If you need to freeze that option for any reason because money's tight or you just can't do it right now, you have that option as well, and it's all good. The last feature they have is new, and it may be something that some of you may need right now. It's not something that you maybe want to get in the habit of doing, but we all know that times are a little tight right now. Job stability is not necessarily there for all of us, and even for me as a teacher, those summer months sometimes can get really tight because I don't get a paycheck over the summer, even though I save for myself throughout the year. Sometimes I just don't save enough. And they have a cash advance feature. They are willing to give you a cash advance of up to $250 relatively quickly, excuse me. It's pretty instantaneous. There's not a lot of hoops that you need to jump through. And it's just kind of something that's there for you during those times where you need to just get from one week to the next or one paycheck to the next. If you need to make use of this feature, you will not be charged interest. They're just trying to provide a service for those of us that may find ourselves in those situations that we hope to not be in, but it's a part of life and we just kind of need that little extra bit to help us out. So that's a third feature that I wanted to share with you, just given the times that we're in and the certain amount of uncertainty that we all have right now. So those are the things that I really like about the app. What I'm really going to be focusing on the most is continuing to use that tracking feature to kind of track my spending, to make sure I'm keeping things as tight and defined as possible so that I have as much extra income as possible to pay down debt. Now on to the fun part of this video. I did record my spending for a week from September the 5th to September the 11th, and I'm gonna share with you how much I spent, and I just kind of did that to help me kind of get remotivated to kind of get back on track, like I keep saying. I also took the financial quiz that Empower offers just out of curiosity. You can take a quiz, and based on how you answer their questions, they will kind of give you a description of who you are financially. So I took that because I thought it would be interesting to see, you know, what am I really strong with financially, and what are some things that I need to work on, and you know, what is my personality when it comes to money, because I never really thought about it that way. So towards the end of this video, I will share with you my results. I'll be sure to leave the description of each of the profiles that they have available with that quiz in the description box, and I highly encourage you to take the quiz so that you can find out about who you are. So what I'm gonna share with you right now is just that little what I spent in a week little montage clip type thing. I will also share with you the results of the quiz that I took through Empower, and then just give you some final thoughts or new epiphanies that I've had as I continue on my financial journey. Now on to the second portion of the video. I had to take a quick pause because I had to adjust my natural light. That's what I used to film, and the sun was interrupting what I had to say. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, I did track my spending for about a week. I started on September the 5th, I believe, and ended it around September the 10th or September the 11th. And I was just curious just to kind of see how the week went, and I always like watching those videos. So I thought, what a perfect time to make one as I try and focus on rebooting my whole financial journey. And so here we go. I have a little bit of footage from some of the things that I mentioned that I'll intersperse in here, so it feels like a little bit of a vlog. But this is what I spent during that week. So we're gonna start with Saturday. That was September the 5th. Normally on Saturdays, I wake up, I ride my Peloton bike, which is one of my new obsessions. And then right after that, I go to Trader Joe's and pick up the groceries that I'm gonna need, primarily for lunches to get me through the week. So I go and I buy salads, I buy snacks, I buy fruit, and it's just a quick trip for me. And on that day, I spent a total of $46.36 on that stuff. Then on Sunday, again, woke up, used my Peloton, and then I headed to Target. And before I went to Target, I had to stop by Bed Bath & Beyond because I needed to buy some K-Cups for my Keurig. That is one of the things that I'm trying to do so that I don't find myself at Starbucks as frequently as I would like to if it were up to me. But I ran out of K-Cups, so I went and bought those, and I ended up spending $24.99 at Bed Bath & Beyond. I always go there because they sell them in bulk, and you always have, I don't know about you, but I have a ton of just old Bed Bath & Beyond coupons that I like to use. Then I went to Target. What I was supposed to do when I got to Target was to buy, I think, mascara and cheese, like 2 or 3 random things. what ended up happening is I walked myself through the clothing section and I walked out with mascara and cheese, but also 2 bags of clothes. I ended up walking out of Target with 2 bags worth of new clothing items, which is fine. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you right now is because one of the things that has worked really well for me in my low spend efforts and journey is specifically having a account where money goes into it just for shopping. And I've had that for a while, but I don't know that I adhered to what was in there in terms of how much I could spend. So I before was just having $100 a month for my checking account go into my savings account, and that was how I funded that account. In addition to that, any revenue that I was making from YouTube videos would go into that account because I don't make a whole lot of money doing this. It has definitely increased as my subscribership has increased and my views have increased, but still not like, well, I mean, it has been a small amount and it's grown. And because it's grown, I have taken the revenue that I get from YouTube and I've decided to cut that in half. So whatever I make on a month-to-month basis, I split that in half. Half of it I let it stay in that shopping account and the other half goes towards paying down whatever credit card I'm working on at the time. And then the other $100 that was just going in there automatically, I thought that that was excessive. Like, that was ridiculous that I, in addition to the YouTube money, was having another $100 that was being accounted for shopping when I could be using it otherwise. So that money immediately gets applied towards whatever credit card I'm working on. So I did go shopping. I will show you a little bit of what I got, but I want to say it feels good to shop knowing that I'm using money that has been designated for that and having a sense of how much money I can spend because it's determined by how much money happens to be in that account. So I'll show you really quickly. This was what I went there to get. Cheese, water wipes to wipe my dog's nose with, and some mascara. I ended up coming out with this pile of clothing here. Like, I'm gonna keep all of these things. As you can see, I was kind of like in a fall mood. So these are mostly tops. There's a pair of pants, a black skirt. I'm not gonna show you everything. If you wanna see specifically what these items are, you have to follow me on Instagram. I do share my outfits every day that I go to work there, so those things will pop up there. And then these are items that I'm going to return. This one I'm returning because it just isn't working for me. This one I'm contemplating because I think I like it. I'm not sure yet because I bought a size too big. So what I'm gonna do is once I get all that returned and all of that is I will then go to my savings account, move the money over to my checking account and cover that. Yeah, so I had a little fun in Target. It was deserved. It was mentally pre-planned. I knew I was gonna treat myself somehow, but in total, I ended up spending $231.90. Now, some of that was the cheese and mascara, but most of that was clothes. But like I said in that clip, the money had been set aside and I was really using money as I intended it, and it felt good. It made me feel better. Retail therapy is real. I don't care what anybody has to say about that. After that, I was pretty quiet. I think I was in shock, so I didn't spend any money from Monday to Thursday. I had my groceries, I had everything I needed, and so I didn't spend any money. And then Friday came and I had an oil change appointment at Volkswagen. So I have a Volkswagen that is up, I think it's about 7 years old right now. I take pretty good care of it, so it's in good condition, and I needed an oil change. I know I can get an oil change anywhere, but Volkswagens are pretty finicky cars, so certain things I feel better taking it there, so I did. Just waiting for them to bring my car out. It was a total of $93.71 for this oil change. Then on Friday, that particular Friday, I think we had officially completed our first month of online learning, which is a beast in and of itself. And I felt like I deserved a very tasty dinner. And I had been wanting this dinner for weeks and I just hadn't gotten it. So I decided to treat myself to dinner at BJ's, which is a brewery house. But they have a really good prime rib special where you get prime rib, 2 sides, and a pizookie. I don't know if you guys have BJ's where you're at, but a pizookie basically is a big baked cookie in a tin pan with ice cream on top. So I ordered that for pickup. and I spent $31.19 on that dinner that day. I wish I hadn't, because the prime rib wasn't very flavorful. They forgot my pizookie, and so it kind of was an annoying experience, but that's what I spent. And so with all that, the grand total for that week was $488.09, which is high, but again, I spent a couple $100s on clothing items. So that kind of brings us to the end of this video. As far as my quiz results, I kind of put a little teaser out there for this video on Instagram and told everyone that I had taken this quiz and asked if they would like predict which of the profiles I was. I'm going to list all the profiles in the description box in case you're interested, and I highly suggest that you run over there and take that quiz, because it's just interesting to see like how you answer the questions and what that all means when it's put together. So my results are, I'm classified as a hedonist, and that means that I know how to enjoy life, and money's not going to get in the way of my freedom. And I feel like that's pretty accurate. I do try and enjoy life. I do want to experience things, but I don't feel like I'm trapped by money or bogged down by money. I'm definitely mindful of it, but if I want something, I'll find a way to get it, whether that means working more, saving for it, or whatever the case may be. So those are my quiz results. Now, my final thoughts on where I'm at financially. One of the big takeaways that I had over the past few months, where I was thinking about all of this but just not tracking it and sharing it with you guys, is in my first video in January, I made this list of rules, and I think there's like 10 to 12, and I realized if someone were to ask me what those rules are right now, I know a couple of them, but the other ones I don't remember, which means that list of rules is not working. It's not working for me, and I think it's not working because there's just too many of them. So I decided to scale it down, and I have 3 rules. They're just going to be my top 3 rules that I need to live by, that I think are the most important ones in relationship to me accomplishing my ultimate financial goals. So those 3 rules are cash only. So making purchases that are cash only, and I don't mean like physical cash, because once you put physical cash in my hand, then my spending becomes like reckless. I just impulsively spend. But like if I'm purchasing something, it's with my debit card, it's coming directly out of my checking account. The second rule is make money to get money. So I need to continue to find ways and involve myself in activities that bring in extra income, whether that's picking up, you know, a stipend position at work, whether that's working on things through social media and being more active there, whether that's selling products on TPT, which I also started to do and is bringing in a little bit of extra money. If that means like right now my Orange Theory membership is frozen because it's closed, taking that money that I would normally be spending and applying it to my debt repayment. I say this to make money to get money, because the more money I make, or the more ways that I finagle that money that's, you know, running the risk of being used inappropriately, the quicker my debts will be paid off, and the quicker my debts are paid off, the more money I will have. I will feel enriched by that, because I'll be spending less of it on my debts, if that makes sense. And then last one, budget the fun. Like my profile said, I like to have fun. I like to buy clothes. I like to go places, have dinner. I would like to travel more in the future, and that's definitely in the cards, but I definitely have to budget for it. I have to be ready for it. What I have learned is I enjoy those things, like buying stuff for myself or treating myself to something, way more when I don't have any guilt associated with it, because I've budgeted for it. So I didn't feel any guilt when I bought those clothes, because I had used money that I had saved for that purpose. Whereas in the past, as much as I love shopping, there was always that feeling in my gut like, but you really shouldn't have bought that because you might need this money later. And I just did it anyway, which is why I'm where I'm at now, quite honestly, or one of the reasons why I'm at where I'm at now. So but that's it. That is kind of like a catch up, where am I at now, a reboot. So I feel like I'm back on the wagon. As far as whether or not I'll be able to get a update video for you every single month, I'm still not sure, because I'm gonna say it one more time, virtual teaching really is quite labor intensive and time consuming. And so even just my regular content is a little bit spotty right now, because I have to put my focus on my job first to make sure that I'm prepared and feeling competent there. And then when I have time and feel like I got some control over things is when I typically sit down and make a video. So I'm not sure when the next video is coming, hopefully soon. But if you enjoyed this update and you enjoyed hearing how I'm kind of refocusing, readjusting those things, give this video a thumbs up. If you are going to check out the Empower app, or you're at least interested in it now that you've heard a little bit about it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you have questions about it, leave it in the comment section below. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please do so. And if you are not following me on Instagram, I would love to have you over there as well. Other than that, I hope you are all doing well. If you are on a financial journey, I hope that you are feeling successful and feeling like you're making progress in the right direction. And I will see you guys. I guess I'll see you when I see you. So I'll see you soon. Hope all is well. Take care. Bye.